Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. This is the post-fight review for the Justis Huni vs Paul Gallen fight, which took place in Sydney, Australia. And Justis Huni said he would put on a boxing clinic against Gallen, and that's exactly what he did. He showed that Paul Gallen, the former rugby league player, was in fact limited, and we knew that coming in, but he really showed that he was on another level, and possibly a couple of levels above, because he was dominant pretty much from the outset. Gallen looked like a midget next to Huni, and Huni exploited that height and reach difference, boxing well from the outside, but also from the inside, working well, and right from the get-go, body work was a massive part of Justis Huni's game plan. Clearly, he wanted to sack Paul Gallen, and he was unloading to the body early and often. And Paul Gallen, it was taking a toll, and the second round in particular, he ate some big shots. After the fight, he said that in round two, he believes that Justis Huni broke a rib of his, and it did trouble him for the rest of the fight. But Huni had Gallen hurt several times in the fight, mostly to the body, but also later in the fight, there was a couple of big left hooks that landed, right hands, different rounds. He was hurting Paul Gallen, but Gallen showed that he is some kind of tough. In round three, he looked like he was ready to go. So he was hurt badly, but he was able to rally towards the end of the round and get out of the round. But you sort of thought the writing was on the wall and this was all going to be over pretty quickly. But he showed his toughness, his durability. And I think Justis Huni in round four in particular, he took the round off to some extent. The pace dropped. Just allowed Gallen just to sort of revitalize a little bit and get himself back into, the fight a little bit. But the writing was on the wall early that this was either going to end in a stoppage, and it did. Final round, 10th round for Huni to retain his Australian heavyweight title, or it was just going to be a one-sided beating that was basically, 100-10 on the cards. There was one or two rounds where Gallen had some success and where it was, a few shots landed. Notably, he landed a big right hand in one round, but that was set up off a low blow. There was only one round that I sort of thought he got anywhere remotely close to being in it, but apart from that, it was all Huni all the time, and the bodywork was the feature of the fight. He did seemingly have the right hand available to him and the uppercut throughout the fight, but sort of sparingly threw that right hand. Later in the fight, though, I think it was round 9, he really started to uncork it and did have a lot of success. About a dozen right hands landed in that round. But overall, this was a very impressive performance by the young Justis Huni, who is set to go to the Olympics at Tokyo. He's currently at 5-0, so he'll put his pro ambitions on hold for the moment, go to the Olympics. And this was something that Paul Gallen, ahead of the fight, vowed that he would try to end Huni's Olympic dream. But after the fight, he did commend Huni, saying that he hit harder than he thought he would, and he was a really good talent, and he hoped that he would win a gold medal in the heavyweight division at the Olympics for Australia. So Gallen was very sort of complimentary after the fight, and he did sort of say, look, this is entertainment. I said what I said in the build-up. It is, entertainment and selling the fight after all. And he did sort of say to Huni, look, you need to work on what you were doing to sell a fight, because it's about making cash after all. If you want to make some cash, you got to sell the fight, and he offered to give him some lessons. But Gallen actually does have a rematch clause, but I don't know if we need to see it again because it was so dominant and lopsided overall. You could have argued that after about 7 rounds, probably didn't need to sort of see any more, that it could have been a case that Gallen's corner could have pulled him from the fight. Even Gallen himself, after the fight, admitted after about 5 or 6 rounds, he knew he wasn't going to win the fight. But for him, it was about personal pride. He wanted to go the distance, and he almost did. But it was in the 10th round, he was basically ready to go. Huni landed a couple of big shots. There was a left hook and a right hand, and he sort of halfway slid on, there was a a graphic on the canvas, and that sort of helped him on the way down, but probably lucky for him because there was a right hand that whizzed by as he was slipping down. But the ref didn't like what he saw, and from about round 7 or 8, he was looking pretty spent. But it was the body work that did it. A clear strategy from Justis Huni, absolutely eviscerating Paul Gallen's body. And there were a couple of rounds there where it was just absolutely ruthless. I think it was round 7 in particular. I'll just double check my notes here. No, it was actually round 9. But I mean, all of these rounds featured Huni going for the body and going for the body often and having a lot of success. And he used his height, his reach well. I guess the only criticism that you could have is there were moments where he did have Paul Gallen hurt, but he didn't really sort of pounce on him when he could have. So, I mean, that's just a minor criticism that maybe he could have jumped on him a few times and possibly got him out of there earlier. But overall, I liked what I saw. He said he would put on a clinic, and he absolutely did that. But overall, a very good performance. What did you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, or follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.